Biafra War was the Third World War, unofficial Third World War. It was the only time that a capitalist power in United Kingdom, Britain, and a communist power in USSR came together in order to kill and stifle the hopes and aspirations of a very tiny country called Biafra in West Africa.
My wonderful people of Biafra, lovers of freedom, I welcome you to Skolante TV, where we bring to you news that concerns the restoration of Biafra and freedom all over the world. In this video, I will be bringing to you the real story behind the Biafran War, what caused it, and the people that caused it. But before I dive into it, let me quickly welcome back to my channel those of you that have been following my videos. And if you are new, I urge you to do well to click the like button, subscribe to my channel, press the bell icon so that anytime I drop a video you will be well notified, and also share this video as well. We are going back to your homeland now, to your roots, to go Biafra nation is we are going home.
I saw the Fulani Janjaweed newspapers like Premium Times writing their junk as usual, and Daily Trust. You know how they are. They think because they have the commanding heights of the media, because they have all the money in the world, they can bribe Google, they can buy off anybody, they can bribe CNN. They think because of that, their own version of the truth is what the world is going to accept. But we are teaching them a lesson that we are an army of journalists. IPOB all over the world, we are army of journalists. And these vagabonds can never ever defeat us. This very day we remember the courage, the bravery of the class of 67 to 70. It is because of them that we are sitting at home this very day all over Biafra land. I call them the bravest of the brave, because they did something that no other army in the world has been able to do. Not even Leonidas' 300 Spartan soldiers that meant Xyzes, an army of over 1 million men, and held them for weeks to allow the other Greek city-states to rally round and come in defense of their land. I said, not even the immortalized 300 of Sparta were able to do what we did between 60s, or what our fathers did between 67 and 1970. I want to put it into context so you understand. Biafra War was the Third World War, unofficial Third World War. It was the only time that a capitalist power in United Kingdom, Britain, and a communist power in USSR came together in order to kill and stifle the hopes and aspirations of a very tiny country called Biafra in West Africa. For the very first time in the history of man till this very day. Because capitalism and communism is like oil and water. They never converged. Ask yourself this question, even at the height of the Cold War, when the arms race was in full gear, nuclear weapons being developed, hydrogen bombs being built, mutually assured destruction guaranteed by the array of arsenals in the possession of these superpowers. Then Britain and Russia, they put all their differences aside. Britain announced that there will be an arms embargo on both sides, on the part of Gowon and on the part of our eternal leader Ojukwu in Biafra. Now the same Britain, the same British government went behind everybody's back, went to Russia. No longer Cold War, they're no longer fighting, no ideological differences between communism and capitalism. They now came together. Britain convinced Russia, the same thing they did to Trump when Trump was in power. Britain convinced Russia to join them. Britain did not ship arms direct. Of course, the latter did. Britain never shipped arms direct to go on. Instead, they told Russia We will give you part of the oil, but please ship arms to go on. Russia supplied all the MiG fighters, all the heavy weapons to Nigeria. Nigeria did not make anything. At the same time, the same thing they're doing today, the same thing that US ambassador is telling you that America is now patrolling the maritime, they will not patrol the Sahel, the desert, where Fulani terrorists are operating. No, they will not do it. They are in the sea, in Biafra land, in the Atlantic Ocean. The same thing they did then, they are trying to do now, to enforce air, land, and sea blockade. Biafra was blockaded. Unfortunately, some Yoruba people went with them. You know me, I speak the truth. I don't care. I tell you the truth always. Some Yoruba people were convinced into going with Fulani to kill as many Biafrans as possible. Or should I say, to kill as many Igbo people as possible. Understand this. Britain did not stop there. Britain went to OAU then, now AU, and convinced most of them that artificial colonial boundaries must exist. Are you following what I'm telling you this morning? Britain convinced African people that the boundaries that they themselves, white Europeans, created in Africa must be defended at all costs. On the floor of the chamber of OAU in Addis Ababa, they were debating it. That what Ojukwu was fighting for is a return to the traditional way that black African people lived before the white man came. That is right. Julius Nyerere said that Ojukwu was right. Huford Brenner said Ojukwu was right. Omar Bongo said Ojukwu was right. The rest said no, he's not right. We must keep the artificial colonial boundaries of our colonial masters. Now you following? Somebody's in Croatia. Our sister Ruth Okori is in Croatia. We're everywhere. That's where she's listening to us from. Black people in Africa were against Biafra for no discernible reason. There is no justification for being against Biafra. We wanted to go back to who we were before the white man came. That's all. They said no. They went to Egypt and they brought pilots from Egypt to pilot the MiG bombers and fighter planes that Nigeria was using. No Janjaweed could fly an aeroplane then. None. But in all of these things, we built our own aircraft. We built our own armored personnel carriers in Biafra land. We refined our own fuel. Something we did between 67 and 70, Nigeria cannot do today, even with their state-of-the-art refineries everywhere. We refined our own fuel. The more we became ingenious, the more technologically advanced Biafra was able to prove to the whole world, the more they despised and hated us. I have said this thing many times live on air. Allow me to repeat. There's a man called Chief Justice P.K. Nwoke, of blessed memory, a very good man. He was serving Ojukwu during the war. I think he later on became a justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Justice P.K. Nwoke. Nwoke was sent to Bulgaria to go and seek for help. A communist country then. On getting to Bulgaria, he was discussing with the Bulgarian government officials about how to support and help. Because the people that brought us the Bible, Britain that gave us Anglican Church, which incidentally, I was, should I say, baptized into, wrongly I would say. Britain gave us Bible, gave us story of Jesus, and Mary, and Trinity, and the Holy Trinity. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy. Everything, even dress us up like occultic leaders. Because when you see a pastor in a church, he looks like an occultic. He looks like a foreign dibia. But they were supporting Muslims from the north to come and kill us. P.K. Nwoke went to Bulgaria to go and ask for help. On getting to Sofia in Bulgaria, His aircraft landed. They took him to his hotel. In the next day, they scheduled a meeting with the government officials. They took him to a government building, not the official government building, but to a building, and asked him why he came. He told them how Biafran people are suffering, how we are dying, how we are being starved to death, and all the rest of it. And at the end of his narration, he finished narrating his story. They said to him, we sympathize with you. This is Bulgaria, I'm telling you. We sympathize with you. But the thing is that we don't want another Japan. The world is struggling with one Japan. We don't want another one to come up. Chief Justice P.K. Nwokedi told me this himself in a place called Enfield in England when he came very many years ago before his passing. He told me face to face, not recycled information. Chief Justice he was, P.K. Nwokedi. And he looked at them, he said, the Bulgarians told him no. The world is having to cope with the technological advances of Japan. We don't want a black country to come out and be like Japan. No, we don't want it. P.K. Nwokedi left after 4 days. It dawned on me that the conspiracy against Biafra is global. It doesn't matter how many petitions you write, how many letters you write, it doesn't matter how many of us they kill. The world would not respond, they will not listen. I also told people a very important story. I went to go and see the United Nations officers in Geneva. I walked into the meeting room. Edoziem was there. Our sister Nnamdi was there. Kanu, my brother, was there. And a few other people. And I believe Uzwaka was there as well. We went into this meeting, asked all these people, we went into this meeting with the United Nations in Geneva. The room, they lined up, the various departments, they were all there. They asked me to present my case. I presented a very compelling case for Biafra. One of them said to me, he said to all of us, not to me. He didn't say it in secret. He said to me, where is it at any time in New York? This was UN offices in Geneva that we went to. He said to me, where is it any time Biafra is mentioned in any meeting at UN headquarters in New York, everybody will get up and leave the room. I asked him, what did you say? In front of ask anybody who was with me in Geneva what I'm saying. We were at the UN office. At the UN, they said to us, in broad daylight, I think maybe around 3:30 in the evening, in broad daylight. Anytime we discuss Biafra, what they are doing to you people at the UN office in New York, everybody will get up and walk away. And then I went back to London. And I started praying. Before I traveled to the US then, I think this was in 2019. I was attending this meeting when my mother's body was in the morgue in Germany. My mother's body was in the mortuary. And I was attending all these meetings on behalf of Biafra. You can imagine somebody who just lost his mom going and making a very compelling case for Biafra, and them coming out and telling us that the whole world is against us. And my mind went back to what Israelites must have gone through, or the Jews of Europe must have been through, or Jews in fact in the entire history, the same thing. Hatred for no reason. People hate Israel for no reason, for no discernible reason. The same way they hate Biafra, for no reason. I was asking white people, what did we do to you? They said, because you are the light of black people all over the world. If we allow Biafra to stand, the world will come to an end. Because everything white people know, you people, you know it as well, and you can do it. They don't want black people to manufacture an aircraft. They don't want to hear the story that a black nation somewhere, one obscure black nation somewhere in a rainforest is manufacturing a car. I didn't say assembling a car. I said manufacture. Before you can manufacture a car, You need to go and dig out or import steel. You need to shape it. You need to carve it in a foundry. You need to build the engine block yourself, not import it from China and assemble. No. They don't want any black nation to do it. They don't want any black nation to have a viable economy. And should Biafra be allowed to stand, that is what is going to happen to the entire black world. And they do not want it. They are whites, they are God. You are black, you are nothing. You are the Lucifer, you are Satan. So you are nothing. So that is the global conspiracy against Biafra. And why am I saying this? So that our people will be very, very careful. We are surrounded by enemies, both real and imagined. The battle for the liberation of Biafra is being fought in the spiritual realm as well as in the physical. People will hate us for no reason. Or should I say, because we are blessed. We are the children of God Almighty in heaven. That is why they hate us. Anybody who is loved, even in your family, if your father doesn't love you, or loves your sister or your brother more than yourself, you become very envious. It's natural. That is the reason why. Now, what I'm trying to say to ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, excluding the visitors who are the Fulani people that have today turned into our oppressors, is this. Biafra is here to liberate each and every one of you. We are not here to take over any territory or conquer anybody, not at all, heaven forbid. Because Israelites are us and we are Israelites. I want you to go back to the Bible for some of you that actually study the scriptures. You will see that anytime the Israelites want to go to war, God will say to them, go to that place, conquer it, defeat them and come back. Don't take their land. Don't even take anything that belongs to them. Do you know that is how our land is structured? Nobody can say that we went to war to take a land that did not belong to us. Every other major tribe or ethnic group in Nigeria went to war of conquest to conquer other people. We never did. People that never went to war, never conquered anybody, are the ones who are being accused of being domineering. The Yoruba nation you see today are made up of very many subgroups. Ijebu man is different from an Oyo man. An Oyo man is different from an Elaje man. Different. But because of the existence or the expansion of the Oyo Empire, all of them came under one rulership and one language. The Igbo man never did the same thing. The Igbo people, we are numerical in number to such an extent that they could have conquered anybody they wanted to. But in our land, if you go from Ibeku, Moaha to Ahoho, Moaha, or you go to Olokorom, or you go to Ikuano, or you go to Obakala, let's assume that Ibeku people want to start a conquest, yes? You go to Obakala and you ask Obakala people, come and join us. Let's go and conquer Ahoho people. They will tell you that you're drunk. They will not join you. Because we are the people that practice the purest form of republicanism. The purest form of it. We are the only advanced civilization in the world not to have a king. Even Israelites begged God to give them a king. And he gave them Saul. And he said to them, you have abandoned the Lord your God in heaven to guide and to lead you. You want flesh to be your king? I will give you flesh to be your king. And you will suffer. And he gave them Saul. And they suffered. But in the land of Biafra, the land of the Asians, we said nobody can be king over us. Only God is king. That is why we name our children Chibueze. Only God is king. Now you understand it. People with this type of mindset cannot conquer anybody. Because I can't go to Mbisa and say to Mbisa people, come on, let's go to Ihiaba. Let's go to somewhere around naked to go and conquer them. They will tell you they're not going. Go and sit in your house and be a king to your wife and your children, not over us. That is why the only thing we know to do in life is dialogue and consensus. Some of you did not understand that was the reason why Okezie also had the guts to say what he said yesterday on China's television. That you cannot defeat an ideology. Who doesn't know that? You can't defeat it. Do you know that Christendom got to Rome? Nero and all the powerful rulers of Rome tried to kill as many Christians as possible to subdue Christianity. I want Fulani Janjaweed to understand. That is why we don't give a damn what you're doing in our land. All the extrajudicial killings, all the massacre, it only makes us stronger and more radical. On all these threats of we are going to crush them, you have not crushed Fulani Janjaweed, you have not crushed Fulani Yetialam, you have not crushed Fulani bandits. A whole Nigeria is working with ISIS. This is something that Biden needs to know. If Obama will let him know this. It doesn't matter how many people you kill in our land. Those who survive, those that will survive your pogrom and your deal will become 1,000,000 times more radicalized. Look at Imo State today because you killed Ikonso. That is why Hope Uzodinma cannot come outside again. If the zoo thinks they are going to win this very battle, they are dreaming. And as I said, at the end of this, Fulani Caliphate will be sacked from Sokoto. Put my words down on paper. They will be sacked from there. Those that fought for us and defended our land fought with nothing for 3 years, against the whole world for 3 years. Henry Kissinger was begging President Nixon. These people, they are Igbo Jews, try and help them. Kissinger was waiting for green light from the UK. Britain kept saying, we have a special relationship with America. America, please don't intervene. It's our former colony. Remember the agreement we had. We can give them flag independence, but in actual fact, we're still controlling them. That was what happened to Africa. Independence. They only gave you flag independence. You are not free in Africa. You are never free and can never be free until Biafra is free. Now, do you understand what I'm saying? Until Biafra is free. These are the things that some of you must understand. You see people that we are locking down our homes for today. They fought with their bare hands for 3 years. Despite the bombing, despite everything. It was at the end of the war that Nixon now said that had Biafra held out for 6 more months, that America would have come in. But by then it was too late. By then all the saboteurs have assembled themselves in Lagos and Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obadi Asika, as we have today. You know, there was in Lagos and Abuja writing their epistle and talking rubbish about rubbish nonsense. Ojukwu was hated by his own, some not by, we love him of course to bits, hated by the traitors and the saboteurs we had in our midst. They were in Lagos as they are doing now, writing and talking rubbish, claiming one Nigeria. My happiness is that their villages are under siege, some of them. All those that fought against Biafra today, they are suffering. Every ethnic nationality in the zoo that's joined hands to fight against Biafra, today they are under the cosh. And they're feeling the pains. As I told you many years ago, everything we suffered in Biafra, they are all going to experience it. Is it not happening now? Of course it is. That is why at the going down of the sun and in the morning we will remember them. 67 to 1970. We will remember them. And do not forget, even after this program, you're going to pray over and over Psalm number 1. Tomorrow we pray Psalm number 2 for 150 days. Elohim should bear us witness. People have been saying that Fulani people invaded Ebonyi State. The killings took place in Benue State, actually, but it is our people, Izi people, that should have been in Ebonyi State. But Nigeria made them northern Nigerians. So when a Janjaweed is talking from Sokoto, he is also claiming our people, Izi people of Ebonyi State, that they carved into Benue State. I hope you're paying attention. For those who don't understand why we are fighting this very war to liberate our land. Our people are part of the North. So when they say the northern Nigeria, there are Igbo people who are northern Nigerians. Can you believe such rubbish? Do you see why I had no respect for Nyawodo? He was a learned man. He went to school. He can speak very fine grammar. And I said to him, how can you be your Hanese President General and there are Igbo people in as part of northern Nigeria? How is that possible? In Kogi and in Benue State, how is that possible? If I am to be the Hanese President General tomorrow, heaven forbid, of course, I will make sure that every Igbo person comes under one umbrella until you say you're not Igbo. Easy people are in Benue State and are being massacred. The name of the community is Ubo Enyim or Wete in Ado local government area of Benue State, not in our own Ebonyi State. These are our people that they carved into such injustice. I sometimes I wonder with our people, such level of injustice, how can you allow it to just pass and do nothing about it? Our people are being killed. Although the place is only accessible through Obala town of Ebonyi local government area, but the people who are being killed, they say they removed our app from where? It's no longer on Play Store. Britain is working overtime. They said that IPOB community radio app is no longer on the Play Store. Of course, it won't be. It's Britain, they have money. How much do they have? They went to Google. Is it not Google that owns Play Store? Go to Google now and write in Nnamdi Kanu on the search engine on Google and see the news you will get to try to poison the mind and the hearts of the world. Now go to DuckDuckGo, you know that search engine. Go to Bing, another search engine. Go to Firefox, go and type in Nnamdi Kanu. Compare the results, you will see. Everything on Google is bad news to portray me as a terrorist, to portray me as a killer. Because Fulani, they are controlled by El Rufai. They have over $30 billion war chest to keep Nigeria one and to be milking all of you. The Chikwo Kikabiyama is fighting for us. And they can never win. They've removed it from Play Store. I'm not surprised. This was what I want people to understand. That these things we're encountering today was exactly what they did between 67 and 70. Before Britain kills you with their Fulani slaves, they will first demonize you. That is their classic. I read in Britain, so I know what I'm talking about. I know them very well. They will first demonize you. That's what they do. Very clever. A very clever move. They will first demonize. They will use the media. They will demonize you. They will demonize you. They will demonize you. So that when they come to kill you, nobody will be asking after you. Very clever plan. And that's what they're doing now. Do you know how I knew this? You know, some of you just go through history, you don't do your research. I do research. You know, when they kept calling Ojukwu secessionist, you did this, you did that. I kept wondering. When it occurred to me that this is how Britain operates, I went back to Aburi conference to go and do my research. It was during the research that it occurred to me that Ojukwu did not actually start the war. It was Nigeria that started the war by firing the first shot at a place called Gekem. If I'm not mistaken, do you understand? Ojukwu went to Aburi to go and negotiate restructuring. Now listen carefully. It was the same Britain that said no to restructuring because Britain was afraid that with restructured Nigeria, if you take Nigeria back to the regions, the likes of Dr. Michael Obaram, Awolowo and all the rest of them will continue to grow the economy of the South because as at 1964, 1965, 1966, Biafra land, the East had the largest and the fastest growing economy in the whole world. Dr. Michael Obaram, may your soul rest in the bosom of the Most High. Dr. Michael Okpara had the fastest growing economy in the whole world. he was growing the economy of Biafra at the rate of 40% every blessed year. Britain wanted to stop it. Are you listening to me? Britain wanted to stop it. That was the reason for the war. Britain went and convinced Nzog, convinced a few other people that things are not working very well in Nigeria, that there must be a coup. Britain, MI5 engineered the coup, claiming that if they overthrow Tafawa Balewa, they will appoint Awolowo as the head of state. Are you following me? That was how we ended up in this trap today. Everything that happens in the zoo, they look for an Igbo man to blame. That's what they do. It was Britain that inspired the coup. A coup of officers from all over Nigeria. They got together, sacked Tafawa. But some of what they did not know was the target of Britain was Biafra, not Nigeria. Their target is to stop the economic miracle of Dr. Michael Okpara. Here is a black race doing something that other black people cannot do. Here is a black race with a cement factory, ceramic factory. They had everything. They had Niger steel. They had everything. We must stop them. That was the reason for the war. If you don't know, let me tell you now. That was why they had a coup. That was the reason why. Thank you very much for correcting us. They said that Radio Biafra app is still there. Please do not bring us fake information. Please, I beg of you. Are you following what I'm preaching to you this morning of the 31st when Biafra land is under lockdown? Are you listening to me? Britain demonized to kill. Once the coup finished, they now went to Fulani and told Fulani, the person that killed your revered leader, Ahmadu Bello, is an Igbo man, no longer Niger Delta. Do you see how they flow? No longer Niger Delta or South or Midwest. Is an Igbo man that led the coup, Nzogo. Therefore, pour out your anger on Igbo people in the north. They killed 3,000 officers. Everything is in three. We fought the war for 3 years. They killed 3,000 Igbo officers. I wouldn't say just say Igbo, the entire eastern officers in the north. During the initial program in Kanu, they killed 30,000 people. At the end of the program in the north, they had killed 300,000 people. Are you following me? All Britain wanted was to remove Dr. Michael Okpara from power in the east because the eastern economy was doing so well. Understand this very clearly. And they succeeded. That is why our people should be very, very, and what you do with very carefully, please. You must understand this very, very carefully. Because our people don't quite understand what is going on or what these vagabonds have in store for them. Are you following me this morning? Are you following me this morning? We are remembering our heroes, so I have to tell you, I have to put everything into context. Everything. Everything into context so you understand it very clearly. Britain wanted to destroy Biafra, that's all. And for them to destroy Biafra, they couldn't come straight maybe to bomb the house where Dr. Michael Okpara was living. They couldn't do anything. Everywhere, in every parastatal, we were there. That is something that they realized and they had to stop us. They tried and they tried and they tried and they tried until they succeeded. They convinced himself, you must have a coup. Can't you see how the man is talking? He came here, he was talking only about the north. He didn't talk about you. You people must do something. And they went and they did a coup. Britain now stood on that very coup to plot our elimination as a race. What Britain had in mind was the extermination of the Igbo race, to exterminate us from the face of the earth. But God intervened, and they're trying it again. That was why they killed Gulag in Owerri. Why do you think they killed him in Owerri? People, you see, I keep saying to journalists in Nigeria, you people are part and parcel of the problem. After politicians, the next set of vermin you have in Nigeria are the journalists. You know, as soon as Katrina Line said she was going on leave, my mind told me that something could be fishy. Something horrible is about to happen. And it has happened. It happened, you know what, didn't it? The same way with 1966. That's how they operate. Demonize to kill. Before they kill you, they first of all demonize you. Do you know what they did? Their so-called presidency, which is Garba Shehu and El Rufai now, that the ones running it, I'm going to lay a curse on them. I'm praying before I lay a curse on Garba Shehu. Nobody hears about their vice president, Yemi Oshibanjo. No, it's Garba Shehu we're listening to. Zoo animals that have no, they have no brain. This UG. They sent out a tweet. Suggesting that Gulag was killed by IPOB and ESN in Owerri. Listen, that's how they go. They exactly what they did with Nzogu. But think that Nzogu fell for it. We cannot fall for such gimmick. This pathetic Nigeria president, so to speak, which is Garba Shehu and El Rufai, said that Gulag was killed by people who are determined to undermine the unity and territorial integrity of Nigeria, which means IPOB. That's what they're saying, a whole presidency of Nigeria. Now, Gulag was killed. Was it on Sunday morning or was it Saturday evening? I don't quite know. How can you, in a matter of hours, you have now decided to tell the world that you know those that killed him? Exactly what Tinubu did in Lagos. IPOB is planning to bomb. IPOB bombed. Exactly because what Katrina Lang said to them is, you must focus on demonization. You people don't read between the lines, but I do. When that demon, that devil that works for MI5, Katrina Lang, she was the one that was against Robert Mugabe. All the time that Britain had issues with the freedom fighter Robert Mugabe, do you know who was in Harare? Katrina Lang, the same woman. Anywhere she goes to, trouble goes with her. Anywhere she goes to, death must come. That's how she operates. Do you know that this woman went to Iguacha to go and see Wike, that prodigal son, that idiot? He said, from what I'm hearing, it is serious. The security agencies. The woman never talked about the massacre of innocent people inside Obigbo. The reason why Biafra genocide has not been recognized the world over is because of the United Kingdom government, British government, because if you investigate that very genocide, they will be implicated. The reason why the Nigerian army believe you can come today and decide to carpet bomb the whole of Biafra land, nothing will happen, despite having an idiot like Osuji in ICC, is because Britain calls the shots. They will decide which cases these people hear and do not hear. Because if you are a low-ranking officer at ICC, I've been to ICC before, and you raise the issue of Biafra, you'll be sacked. Your manager will call you into the office and pay you to lose your job. You people don't understand that we have very powerful enemies. That is why you must be well disciplined. If you want Biafra, which I know we all want, believe you me, we have to be disciplined. From the men in the bush to the average child on the road, there must be discipline. Without discipline, our enemies will keep undermining us. Do you know when Katrina Lang said she was going on holidays, I knew something was wrong? So it didn't shock me when I heard yesterday that, was it 2 days ago, that Gulag was shot in Owerri. Ask yourself this question: why would IPOB want to kill Gulag? Who is he? Do you know what the papers in Nigeria have been writing, even including Sahara reporters, of all people? Premium Times, Daily Trust. They said Nnamdi Kanu issued a sit-at-home order starting from Friday, the 28th. Do you see how they lie? Do you see how journalists, how black people, you people are evil? Do you see how black people are? That I said that the sit at home will start on Friday, the 28th. Go to Premium Times, Fulani newspaper, you will see it there. Go to Sahara Reporters, you will see it there. that it is because of the sit-at-home order. Do you see how they planned it? God exposed them. They wanted to kill this man on a Sunday, so to speak. I think he was killed yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know that they wanted to kill this man on the day of the sit-at-home? Not knowing that Chukwukika is merciful, I shifted it to today being Monday. Do you see how it works? They wanted, can you imagine if they had any sense? Do you see how God works? If they had any sense at all in their brain, they would have waited to kill him today. He was assassinated by Monguno, El Rufai, Garba Shehu. The person that planned this assassination and cemented it is the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Lang. They planned to kill him in Owerri, of all places. They planned to kill him during our celebration or remembrance of our heroes. So they will blame it on IPOB and then start killing Igbo people in the north. It's a very simple game plan. Very, very neat and clean. But you know, as they say where we come from, please, I don't know who is going to interpret, not right. Because our hands are clean. This man told us about his killer before they killed him. And I'm going to play his voice for you. After playing his voice, I want the wife of Gulag, Ahmed Gulag, to demand the telephone records of the husband. After all, the record conversations in the zoo. Madam, go and look. Ask MTN, your husband has about 3 phones. He has about 3 phones. Yes? About 3 phones. Ask all the networks he's using to give you his phone records and his text messages. There you will see the killers of your husband. But it is not IPOB. Let me tell you what the man said before they killed him. The reason why they killed him, to tell you how evil they are. The reason why I know that Britain is behind this is the way they play. I know they must demonize you. To kill you, they first demonize you. That's how they do. It was this same woman, Katina Lang, that demonized Robert Mugabe. Demonized him before the world. The same woman. They sent him to come and do this. That was why they formed BBC Igbo. Once they created BBC Igbo, the Katina Lang came to work hand in hand. But they refused, or I wouldn't say refused, they failed to understand that our people are naturally intelligent. Biafran people are by nature very intelligent. How they can tell when they're trying to deceive them. Let me play you the voice of the man, Ahmed Gulag, that they killed. And in this very clip of his, you will hear the name of his killer that they want to pin Nnamdi Kanu. But I pray 7 times every day. This God I worship, if he cannot protect me, then what am I doing? What is he doing as God? They got the dates wrong. If they had killed him today, they would have blamed it on me. But they got the dates wrong. And they never knew that this video will come out. This is the reason why you must work very hard to ensure the disintegration of Nigeria. Nigeria is an evil enclave. Let's listen to the man that they killed. I wanted to blame it on Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB. Let's listen to him.
I want to say what I have been saying over time. Mr. President, remove, arrest, prosecute Major General Ali Munguno, your national security advisor.
Arrest them. So this is this is Ahmed Gulag asking the so-called president to do something. To do what? What are you asking the president to do, please? The man they killed in Owerri, blaming Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, ESN. The man that they themselves killed. That is the name of the man that killed him. He's about to mention. Listen.
Mr. President, remove, arrest, prosecute Major General Ali Munguno, National Security Advisor. He is corrupt. He is clueless. He don't have the interests of Nigeria and Nigerians at heart. And that Munguno is a hypocrite.
Yes.
If he is the NSC,
yes,
and he think he have available power within him, let him arrest me. He is corrupt. He's a thief. He's a problem to the security of this country.
Thank you.
If people are afraid, I'm not afraid.
I'm not afraid. Gulag. He said he's not afraid.
Munguno is only busy stealing the monies.
They killed him because he accused Munguno, the National Security Advisor of Nigeria, of corruption. He said, I am not afraid of you. I don't care what you're going to do. This man called Gulag did not even trust Hope Uzodinma, the man he put in power in Imo State. He did not trust him. That was why he left his hotel without telling any security operative, because he felt that Munguno was on his trail. That was why there was no siren. He took a simple taxi because he feared for his life. Is it that simple? It's not common sense. If a high-ranking APC official can visit a place and refuse every security protocol, it's because he is afraid or in fear of his own life. Have we ever had any encounter with Gulag to make him be fearful of his life? No, is the answer. The person that killed him is here. The person that killed him, he has mentioned his name. But Premium Times, Sahara Reporters, Punch newspaper, Daily Post, these are evil black people writing rubbish. Evil men and women claiming they are journalists. Evil people. The man mentioned his killer. Told you who killed him. But you are so determined because of you want to serve your British masters. You are so determined to pin it on IPOB. Okay, I don't know. You people are evil.